So, having been Dave's partner for over 30 years, it's pretty tempting to talk about his business genius and things like that. But I'll tell you, the thing I remember most about Dave is his creativity. I mean, the guy would find an opportunity in something that everyone else took a look at and kind of said, meh, nothing there. And he'd go out and create the world's first set of color working drawings for the Weather Channel. Crazy. In the early 90s. Just crazy. I mean, Dave would show up at Halloween parties and people would have no idea who he was. People that he worked with every day. It was just crazy. From Michael Jackson to Mr. Clean, the guy was just filled with a spirit of life and a really special way of looking at the world around him. Gonna miss you, Dave, but thanks for letting me be part of your life.
1980, basketball season, Champaign, Illinois. I'm in the prep area of Snacks Fifth Avenue, up to my elbows in raw ground beef. My current task, which I'm almost finished with, is making 8 baker's racks of hamburgers. All of a sudden, this guy, who I've never seen before in my life, comes flying back to the prep area and says, "We're out of salads." Which it's my job to make sure there's always salads in the wait station cooler. In fact, earlier in the evening, I had made 8 baker's racks full of salads and stocked the wait station cooler. But like I said before, it's the Lou Henson era of basketball in Champaign, and when Louis comes in with his entourage and his acolytes, line out the door around the block. Dave is just that good. Or it might be me. I am, after all, the one touching all the foods. Anyways, I'm up to my elbows in raw ground beef mix. There's baker's racks of custom smudged hamburger patties 20 feet in every direction. My apron is covered in the blood of 1,000 dead cows. And here comes this clean-shaven, tallish, blondish, perfectly composed young man with, "We're out of salads." As if, at that moment, salad is the most important thing on the planet. Which in our little universe, it is. So, to be honest, for a second, I had a moment. A moment that's like when you pull the parachute cord and nothing happens. A parachute pull cord moment, which Dave evidently picks up on. So he helps me move the hamburger racks to cooler 1, and he starts setting up salad plates while I go into cooler 2 for the garbage can full of salad mix. It's a garbage can full of salad mix. Earlier in the evening, I had chopped all the lettuce and the cucumbers and all the tomatoes and all the stuff and put it in the garbage can, and it's supposed to be for tomorrow's next shift, but it's a salad emergency, so we got to use it now. So the first thing I ever do with Dave is make 8 dozen cute little dinner salads out of a garbage can at Snacks Fifth Avenue in Champaign, while Lou Henson is sitting 25 feet away, sitting and waiting patiently for his salad. Later that night, Dave and I hang out behind the restaurant and converse, but we don't inhale. Much. So, that's the type of guy Dave is. Dave is the type of guy who has to solve the problem. Whatever problem you have, Dave's going to find a solution. And that's the team that he assembled at the Wizard. It's a bunch of people who have it in their heart to do everything that they can to help people and solve problems.
It's impossible for me to measure Dave's impact on me over the 25 years I've worked for him, been his friend. I think Dave had a way of making everything better. The company is better because of him. All the good things about the culture. are a reflection of him and his personality, his kindness, his thoughtfulness, his brilliance, his leadership, his vision. He made everything better, including my life, my family's life, those that have worked for him at Eastlake and Wizard. Just impossible to measure. He's a good friend, good mentor to me, and I'll miss him dearly, and hope we can carry on what he started.
Hi, I'm Doug. I'm a friend of Dave's, an old golfing buddy of Dave's, but most of all, a wizard. I came to Wizard Software maybe 12 years ago or so. Dave finally talked me into leaving the software company I was working for at the time. And when I came to Wizard Software, I was amazed to find out what a different and interesting and pleasant and fun environment it was to work in. And that's because of Dave. Dave was a visionary. He was an entrepreneur. He was an optimist. And he built the Wizard Software company in that image. I think the most interesting aspect I found out of Wizard Software right from the beginning was that everyone was allowed to contribute. We'd get in these big meetings, and we still have them today. And everyone was allowed and expected even to contribute to the ideas would be passed around, and while it's not exactly a company driven by committee, it is a company where everybody has a voice. And one of Dave's particular abilities was to listen. He would listen to everybody and take everybody's opinion, no matter whether it was, good or off the wall. He would always listen to you and give you that respect. So I think he built a company that really works well, that is solid, that is successful, that is fun to work at, that is a joy to be a part of. And for that reason, it will succeed beyond Dave. I think it'll continue to thrive in Dave's image, the culture that he built, and that's a good thing. So thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
When doing a video to discuss Dave and his many qualities, I started to think about words and superlatives that swirled in my mind like a wizard's wand revolving around to create magic. Okay, it's a bit corny. But the first word that comes to mind is altruistic. Dave was a giver, always thinking about how he could make things easier for someone else. In some ways, although I never asked him, I think a portion of our company's positioning statement was generated by his altruistic personality. Making your job and your life easier. It was about the user's happiness. Altruistic. One thing that resonates with me is Dave told me to do whatever it takes to make myself comfortable while being away from my family while traveling. He was more concerned about me and my family as opposed to a few dollars to change a flight. Integrity and honesty. Dave had an unwavering ethical principles in both how he ran Wizard Software and his relationship with family, friends, and wizards, which in some cases are all of the above. Dave was always upfront. He kept all wizards up to date regarding any issues with frequent communications at staff meetings, showcases, retreats. It is another example about how Dave built relationships because employees knew exactly what was happening. The word you're going to hear the most, visionary. Dave had tremendous foresight and was a great leader. Dave was a visionary and was excited each day he came to work to accomplish his vision. When we moved our offices on Larchmont, I sat directly behind him and we talked regularly. When I spoke with him, you could feel the confidence in his ideas and plans and abilities. And when you see all that he has accomplished, you can understand why. As a visionary and leader, Dave's focus was not solely on growth and financial results, but he also focused on employees and built a culture that makes employees want to stay in Wizard Land. Dave understood that people feel best when they are given recognition for their work. Dave's leadership style was all about conveying authority with warmth. One thing that Dave always talked about was setting the table. That was one way he demonstrated his strategic planning skills. Dave set the table by communicating various components of a given strategy. It was typically an initial description of an idea, and from that idea was development of a step-by-step outline to accomplish a given objective. Dave set the table for growing the staff, creating new versions of the software, and on and on and on. One quick last personal story. Remember when I worked with Dave at a first trade show, watched him do some presentations. You could just see the confidence level. You could feel the passion for the software, for the company. You could see the pride that he knew the software he developed would make people's lives easier. All that with integrity. When Dave said we could do it, he knew we could do it and we would do it. But he did it with such humility. I love Dave, and he touched my life and my family's lives in ways that are difficult to articulate. I will never forget him.